I feel like as a society we've just decided to have that one penguin film like every 10 years and then never talk about penguins in cinema besides that. Except for the ones from Madagascar.
Penguin!
I had you as a head-down sort of fellow. Anything for a quiet life. And what happened to you? I met a penguin.
Oh yes, that one film where a middle-aged guy makes friends with a penguin, except this time it's based on a true story featuring a military coup in Argentina and a quirky English language school. Okay, you have my attention. The Penguin Lessons star Steve Coogan as a grumpy middle-aged English bloke. Not a lad or anything, just a proper English bloke. Bit of a dick, who takes a job teaching in Argentina in the 1970s during a horrifying military dictatorship. Yes, so one day he finds out that there's a military coup happening, which means that he gets a week's holiday, so he decides to go to Uruguay. There he meets a woman, he's getting friendly with a woman, and then they happen across a penguin that's been in a horrifying oil spill accident. And because he's there with a lady that he would like to get with, he's kind of horny guilted into saving the penguin's life, and then he's kind of actually threatened with prison multiple times by people so that he keeps the penguin and brings it back to the school with him. And from there, I mean, mildly comedic shenanigans ensue pretty much. This is the sort of film that feels like it deserved the lukewarm anticipation I had for it. I wasn't excited coming up to it, but I thought it was going to be pretty much what I got. A gentle, comedic at times, it has its moments, kind of film that kind of pulls itself in a few too many directions to ever really blow you away in any of those directions. It's, you know, he's dealing with teaching and trying to teach these kids who aren't that interested in learning English and kind of bully each other and are growing up with their parents' ideals about, you know, military dictatorship, fascism. Anyway, and he's also dealing with the penguin and the fact that people keep randomly coming to trauma dump on this penguin, which is kind of amusing in its own way and sweet, but, you know. And the penguin is lovable and cute, and he's kind of... Steve Coogan's character is a grouchy old git, you know, in a likable sort of way that gets more likable as he goes on. I mean, the whole based on a true story thing is very sweet. It's not overly exciting. It's an interesting look into a different, very different place in a different time, which is fine. I think the thing that stops this from becoming, like, getting to that higher echelon of, like, proper, really, yeah, feel-good story is that it just, I don't know what the word is. I guess it's too shy. Is that possible for a film? It's too trapped in its own comfort zone, not really interested in leaving it or trying to become anything more. I feel like maybe I would enjoy actually reading the book because I feel like it would be a bit more emotional heartstring pulley. You know, I don't need like a Pixar emotional gut punch kind of thing. I felt like there was something more here, and I don't know what held it back from that. Maybe just Steve Coogan, like, there's nothing wrong with him as a lead in this. He's fine. But I feel like I really got the sense of like, oh, that got me. Like when I saw like Jonathan Pryce standing with the penguin at the, like cheering on the football. Like that was the proper like old man with the penguin. Adorable. Like, oh yeah. And Steve Coogan is just maybe a bit too young to pull that off. Does that make sense? I know that it's based on a true story. So he was cast age appropriate, I'm guessing. But it just felt to me like there was... like, the word mild just applies to every aspect of this film. So I'm not quite sure what it was that stopped this from becoming, for me, you know, something more than a fairly forgettable experience. Not anything wrong with it. I feel like this is what we're getting with more and more British films nowadays. I don't know if that's just me finding that, but more and more of them are like an older generation making things that are very fine. Not at all bad, well acted, all of this, but very... I guess, just uninspiring is the only word I can... And that it's being harsh because I did enjoy this. But I'm never going to feel the need to watch it again. So I'm giving planning your holiday week off with excitement due to a military coup is so British. 3 stars. Seriously though, what's up with Steve Coogan? Because I feel like he's one of these guys that like he appears in a film and you're like, oh yeah, Steve Coogan, yeah. And then he vanishes for like 3 or 4 years. You see him in nothing. And then he pops up in another film and you're like, ah. He's just in, out. Does what he wants. What a boss.